John Barnes did his best to rally the troops, but Tranmere's dismal run continued in Devon. 17-year-old keeper Joe Colchester beaten by Adam Stansfield after 25 minutes. The teenager's presence between the posts seeming to back the manager's claim that Rovers have very little cash to play with. Even so, pressure's mounting on the boss. His side's 6th straight league defeat sealed by Stansfield after the break. The 16th time Tranmere have conceded during that run. Exeter's second win of the campaign was marred only by a consolation goal from Michael Ricketts, the first Rovers have scored on the road. But Barnes remains upbeat.
Of course your confidence is dented a little bit, it has to, because you're losing matches, but understanding why you're losing matches and seeing what you've done in the past and seeing what how well the team has played in terms of, because I'm not asking them to do any different now than I asked them to do against Gillingham, who were a decent side, or against MK Dons, who were one of the top teams, and we did okay in those matches. So we're not doing anything different now, or in terms of what I'm asking them to do in terms of training or anything like that. So as far as what I want them to do, I still have belief in that. Yeah.
After 6 league defeats on the trot, even Tranmere boss John Barnes had to admit this match was all about the result rather than the manner of the performance. He's vowed to get the team playing attractive football, but will surely have taken just as much pleasure from John Welsh smashing the ball in from a couple of yards. Colchester manager Eddie Boothroyd reckoned his players had been punished for complacency. Stung by the goal, they struck back just 2 minutes later. Ian Goodison brushed aside by Coyote Odejayi for John Joe O'Toole to net his first goal since joining on loan from Watford and ruining Rovers' day. 4 league games unbeaten for the Essex club.
Tuesday night's victory at Wycombe, coming off the back of 7 straight defeats in League and Cup, had given Tranmere manager John Barnes reason for optimism. However, after a torrid 90 minutes in South London, his future at the club, questioned by many in recent weeks, has to be in serious doubt. His side simply can't defend, as emphasised by James Henry's early goal. With less than 10 minutes on the clock, Tranmere were 2 down, and some would have begun to wonder about Barnes' optimism. More bad defending allowed Andy Frampton to claim his first goal since January. Midway through the half, it was game over. This time, Henry turned provider, as Steve Morrison made it 3-0 to the home side. And before the half-time Satsumas were dished out, Henry had added his second. The Millwall supporters taunted Barnes by singing "You're getting sacked" in the morning, and there are now decisions to be made by the Tranmere board. The second half saw assistant manager Jason McAteer sent to the stands, and Tranmere soon found themselves reduced to 10 men on the pitch. Marlon Broom spending the last 6 minutes in the dressing room with the rest of the Brooms after a second yellow card. From the resulting free kick, the Tranmere defence looked as solid as Blancmond's in the wall as they gifted Henry his hat-trick.
Tranmere will need more than a magic sponge to pull away from the drop zone, but Les Parry, their former physio turned caretaker manager, at least massaged a first home league win in 2 months for his beleaguered side. Australian Gareth Edge setting them on their way against Brighton after 36 minutes. And life after John Barnes began to look even brighter for the Wirral side after 66 minutes when former England under-21 John Welsh took aim and unleashed a beauty. Not a debut to remember though for Tranmere keeper David Martin. Just signed on a month's loan from neighbours Liverpool, the keeper brought down Gary Hart to give the visitors a penalty which Glenn Murray dispatched. Game on with 12 minutes remaining. Murray had earlier been booked for handball, so this second transgression was senseless. A red card, Brighton's 6th of the season, effectively ended their hopes, but a much needed 3 points for Rovers.
Tranmere were looking for their first back-to-back league wins of the season, and Hartlepool's poor home record offered some hope. They set about their hosts with enthusiasm. Scott Flinders soon forced into action. But by half-time, Rovers were trailing. A special moment for local lad Peter Hartley, his first senior goal. To set the seal on another miserable away trip for Tranmere, Charlie Barnett's tangle with Neil Austin saw them finish the match a man as well as a goal down.
Wycombe's late defeat kept Tranmere off the bottom of the table, but the club's 125th birthday celebrations were ruined by a Swindon side who are now just 2 points off a playoff place. Billy Painter put them on course for their biggest league win of the season with this close-range effort. 5 minutes later, almost a carbon copy of the first, this time Painter turning in Kevin Amankwa's cross. Danny Wilson's men had to wait until after the hour for their third. Temi Obadiah's cross, JP McGovern's dummy, Anthony McNamee's finish. Long throws have been a speciality at Tranmere since the days of Dave Challoner. Chris Shuker met this one at the far post to make it 3-1. But Swindon's happy trip back across the Mersey was confirmed when the aptly named Simon Ferry grabbed his first professional goal.
"55 years on from their only other cup encounter, and again these two need a replay. Leyton Orient earned an early lead through 19-year-old Luke Ashworth, but with 4 defeats in their last 5 matches on the road, holding on for another 83 minutes was always a tall order. Chris Shuker kept Tranmere's campaign alive.
Norwich were hoping to feast on a Tranmere side right out of form, but the only slice on offer in this one was a slice of good fortune. With an hour played, Adam Drury's shot seemed to hit the arm of John Welsh for a hotly disputed penalty. Wes Houlihan gratefully dispatched his 8th goal of the season. And the icing on the cake came 10 minutes from time. Simon Lappin's cross was left by the entire Tranmere backline. Houlihan collected at the far post, and his cross was cleverly turned in by Gary Doherty. A 3rd league win in a row for the ever-improving Canaries. On Tuesday night, Tranmere knocked Leyton Orient out of the FA Cup at the Matchroom Stadium. Revenge wasn't long in coming. The O's took the lead on 24 minutes from the usual source. Scott McLeish may be 35 now, but he still knows the way to goal. The lead didn't last long. Struggling Tranmere had lost 7 of their 8 away games before this one and had scored only twice on their travels. The third was well worth waiting for. John Welsh's long-range effort was only parried by Glenn Morris. Charlie Barnett gratefully gobbled up the rebound. The Londoners hadn't won in their last 6, but with 20 minutes left, McLeish did it again, nipping in to head home Sean Thornton's cross. Problems piling up for Rovers, who are still without a permanent manager.
Tranmere claimed their first league win since October as they beat Southend at Prenton Park. Captain Ian Goodison opened the scoring. And Tranmere secured just their 4th win of the season when Terry Brunel scored. Of course, they're without a manager as well, Tranmere.